This is a place of true passion when it comes to climbing. You don't come here unless you deeply care about rock climbing on magnificent walls. There's only a few like sheer granite big walls like it in North America. I don't know, I just got tired of telling myself I couldn't do it. And if someone tells me I can't do something, even if it's myself, I just get this like fire to prove them wrong. Just getting here seemed like such a huge obstacle. I think my pack was probably between 60 and 70 pounds over Haley Pass for a total of something like 16 miles, which was the longest day of hiking that I have ever had in my life. Then the next day, woke up before dawn and climbed the Optimist, and that was the most climbing I've ever done in a day. So within 2 days, I had the longest hike I'd ever done, and then the longest free climb I'd ever done in a day. And today my legs are very sore. There's a lot of things that are different about alpine climbing. Out here, you really are earning every pitch you climb because you're hiking out so much gear. There's so much less traffic on the walls, so the just level of adventure is significantly different. Like, you don't have a guidebook. The routes aren't as clean when you're climbing. It's a lot more like technical skills when it comes to route finding. Pretty easy to get off route and end up in like pretty serious situations. Even the easiest route at Mount Hooker, there's probably only a couple parties that climb it a year. And so the chances you're gonna break a hold or, you know, something unpredictable is going to happen is significantly higher. We don't really have cell phone service out here. We can't get weather updates. Storms can roll in at a moment's notice. You know, if something happens out here, getting out is a legitimate, dangerous concern. If you succeed and top out a route, then it like starts to thunder, like you could be in serious trouble and there's no way that you could call for help. So it's a tricky place to climb. You're kind of always dealing with some obstacle. On something like this, it's always me and a bunch of guys, and we're climbing routes that were put up by men. We came back here and there were like 20 people back here, and I was the only woman here to climb. A lot of the time when you're climbing big walls, you're in pretty high stress situations because the consequences are really real. And I find that on a lot of my adventures, I have experiences where emotions kind of run high, and it's not always shared with my partners who are male. I get scared and I get freaked out and I cry like on walls. Like, I cry all the time, and most men don't do that. And you know, when you're the only one having this emotional reaction, there are times when it feels really lonely to have that experience, because when you don't feel like the people around you, you don't really feel like you belong. And that's an interesting experience that I don't think everybody could understand without actually experiencing it. I've decided at one point that I could either take that as discouraging and let that hold me back, or I could use that as something to fuel my climbing, because if people know that I'm out there doing these things where they don't see themselves represented, then maybe more women will feel like they belong in places like Mount Hooker. The experience didn't have to be driven by going into the mountains to climb some hard route just for the sake of rock climbing. I read this quote in Paul Piana's Big Wall book that says, "It goes without saying that skill is a necessary ingredient, but good friends with the proper spirit are imperative." The more time I spend in the places that these people left an impact, and follow in the footsteps of my own heroes who are no longer around, the more I understand that it's through these climbing experiences that we stay connected to those that have left us, because this is what they were passionate about. And it's, you know, what I'm passionate about. It's how I'm connected to the people I love most in this world, is through climbing. These routes that are dedicated to people that aren't with us anymore, I think is super meaningful because it's how they live on. And Mount Hooker especially is a place of such passion, and, you know, climbing on a route put up by someone that loved it so deeply, like, you can feel it. You can't help but be inspired. And it just makes the experience so much more meaningful, and makes climbing and life so much more intertwined, because that's what these people's lives were about. It's what my life is about. It kind of just became this trip that was all about having an adventure with good friends, and at the end of the day, that's what I want my climbing to be about. Even if we got rained on every day that we're out here, it would still be a worthy adventure. Double kill! The mosquitoes out here suck.